First day. Welcome to Birdistan. I'm the host of today's video. This is our client Kirti. This is going to explain to us what is the Coppersmith Barbet. So starting first, what does the bird look like?
Oh Max, this is a great question. What does Coppersmith Barbet looks like? Coppersmith Barbet is one of the most beautiful, mesmerizing birds that are ever found. If someone sees it for the first time, they are so dumbstruck that they don't know what they've seen. It's an achievement to even have spotted Coppersmith Barbet, and especially for the first timers, it is. And for me, each time that I see it, I want to just wait there, have a look at it. I want to keep on gazing at it till it literally gets fed up of me looking at it and flies away. That is how it happens every single time when I spot Coppersmith Barbet. It visits the area around our home very often. It's always heard in the vicinity, and it keeps frequenting here all the time. I think in a day, a couple of times it keeps passing by or sits on a nearby tree. Sometimes I'm lucky enough to spot it, sometimes not. But when you see it, how do you know, or how do you identify how does the Coppersmith Barbet look?
So please explain. What's the color of the beak?
The color of the beak is black, dark grey to black, and it's a bulkier beak in comparison to the body of the Coppersmith Barbet, because it's a small, tiny bird. You can say this big, and on that, the beak size is quite bulky.
Yes. Then what's the size of the throat?
The color of the throat, Max, is more important. The color of the throat is red in color, and there is hardly any neck size. Means the bird does not have a longer neck. It's short neck.
You forgot to say it's red in color.
It's red in color.
Then what's the color of the face? Let's say supercilium, eye ring, face details,
True.
Crown, nape.
Yes, the crown of Coppersmith Barbet is glossy red, as well as around the throat there is red color. So you will see red here and red here. That is the most distinctive visual feature of Coppersmith Barbet you are looking at in a small green bird. So it's a leafy green, emerald green color bird, small in size, which has distinctive red patches on the throat as well as on the forehead. And around its eyes it has yellow rings, as well as around the neck area, little bit around this area.
They say it has a black supercilium.
Yeah. And also it has small whisker like, bristles of hair around its beak. That is where its name comes. In French, it's barbet, means small bearded something.
Well, but I've noticed that most barbets don't have it. I only know that the far tufted barbet really has got some beard on its beak. How about what is the color of the eyes?
The color of the eyes are red.
You said it is red, because when I see the picture it looks brown or orange like that of a tiger's eyes.
I think it varies with the angle we look at it, because when I have seen it, it looks red. Some people can describe it as brown.
How red? You mean very mild or very sharp red?
It would be dark.
Sure. Then let's see. What's the color of the breast overall? They say it is pale in color compared to the rest of the body.
Yes, it is. It is lighter green, not the same shade as the back of the bird. Yes. So this is how you can spot Coppersmith Barbet. This is the color description of the bird and the physical description of the bird. It also has very small tail, hardly noticeable, small tail that keeps moving when it makes the sound.
What is the color of the wings of this bird? The wings.
Wings are green. Max, when you see Coppersmith Barbet against the sun, you can hardly notice the bird. Unlike parrots are also green, but they are so vibrant green that they reflect the color of the sun and we see them more clearly. But it is different or opposite with Coppersmith Barbet, maybe because of the emerald shade on its body or darker streaks on its body, that when the sunlights come on the body, it absorbs the light and it makes it more difficult for you to spot it. So if it is sitting in a shaded area or that time of the year where the sunlight is not directly falling, it's much better to look at the bird. Also, you can see the details in a much better way. Otherwise, when the sun is directly hitting the bird, it's very difficult to even spot anything about the bird apart from seeing a shadow of it or the silhouette of the bird.
How about the nape and rump?
The nape is same as green color, just like the
Rump
rest
is
of the
also
body.
spinachy green.
Yeah, more or less.
Tail is also spinachy green.
Same color, yes.
The feet and claws are orange to red.
Yes, the feet of the Coppersmith Barbet is orange, and there are 4 toes of Coppersmith Barbet.
4 toes.
Yeah.
Like all other birds.
Yeah, many other birds.
What is the difference between an adult and a juvenile? Since they're not dimorphic.
Yes, Coppersmith Barbets are not sexually dimorphic. There is hardly any difference that can be noticed between the male and female.
You can say none.
Yes. And the juveniles, though, look paler in color, as well as they lack the red distinctive feature of the bird that we see visually. So they lack the red patch on the forehead as well as on the throat. They look slightly different from their parents, so it's difficult to tell if they are the young ones of the Coppersmith Barbet because of the pale colors and hardly any features to be noticed. Yeah. So Max, so far we discussed how can we identify Coppersmith Barbet. Now can you let us know, since you know more birds than I do, are there any other birds that are similar to Coppersmith Barbet? Are there other barbets in India or around us?
No, none are similar, but I know that there's the white-throated barbet, great barbet, blue-throated barbet which are found in India. None of them look similar. In fact, all the 4 species of barbet found in India, they cannot be mistaken with any existing species of barbet. It's unmistakable.
Due to their features?
Yes, but I do know that the blue-throated barbet is known to be found out around Coppersmith barbets. They're known to evict their 3 holes.
So they are competitive. As far as I know, they are highly competitive birds to the ones that are similar looking to them.
Then the great barbet, you cannot mistake it with any species of barbet in the world, in fact, now.
Because they are bigger than others.
Yes.
Right?
You don't need to worry about in which location did you find it. You need to worry about whether it has a blue head or not. Complete blue head and eyes are invisible. And big yellow beak, and they're the biggest. So you cannot make a mistake while identifying it.
Okay, so there are other barbets around, but all of them look different.
Yes, but they all are unmistakable. You cannot make a mistake, and also locally you cannot find all the species in one go. You only find some, so you will have lesser chance of getting a similar species, 2 similar species at once.
Right. The average size of Coppersmith Barbet is 17 centimeters. In inches, it would be around 6 to 7 inches. So you're looking at something this big when you're going to spot it. Yeah. And also, lifespan of Coppersmith Barbet is hardly known. Nobody has a record of how long they can live. It could also be due to predators, killing them before their time, or whatever is the reason. But the estimated lifespan of Coppersmith Barbet is supposed to be between 10 to 25 years. Whereas the Coppersmith Barbet weighs around 30 to 35 grams in weight. And the way it flies is like rapid flaps with its wings and goes straight while flying. Yeah. Most people do not spot them flying, coming to the place or moving away.
It will just be a hazy figure in the air. You won't notice anything. Cannot make out anything. Just hazy. You may think it's a sparrow flying.
Yes, true. You may mistake it with any other bird.
Or you could think it's a tiny rose-wing parakeet, because rose-wing parakeets, they look small when they fly, and the Coppersmith Barbet looks like a flying rose-wing parakeet.
Right.
Unless you do not see the yellow tail of rose-wing parakeet as, but if they're flying ahead of you, then you cannot make out. But if they're flying towards you, then you know it's not a flying rose-wing parakeet.
Because you can spot their head.
Yes.
Yes, true. The most interesting part about the Coppersmith Barbet is the way it sounds. It is one of the most distinctive features also of Coppersmith Barbet, the call that it makes.
It's a metronomic sound for Coppersmith hitting metal with a hammer.
Yes, it's like a coppersmith literally hitting a copper metal with the hammer. It's very subtle, it's not sharp to your ears, and most birders as well as people have mostly heard this sound, but they have not known the source where it is coming from.
The regional names of the Coppersmith Barbet are Tambe, Chota Basanta, and Tuk Tukia.
Wow, these are nice names. Tuk tukia in Hindi people call just because of the sound that it makes. Tuk tuk tuk. That is a penetrating sound that I can hear, Max can hear, all of us and us at home can hear many times of the year, of the day, and throughout the year, almost apart from winter times. Winter times is when they are silent, mostly silent. Otherwise, rest of the year they are always making this sound, lasting sound. And they also are known to have not just tuk tuks but 204 different notes of this, isn't it?
But they all more or less sound the same.
Yes. The interesting fact about the tuk-tuks also is that a Coppersmith Barbet can make up to 121, between 108 to 121 sounds of tuk-tuk within a minute's time. And they are like an alarm clock. When they start, the sound is soft, and then slowly, gradually, it keeps on increasing. So those who are living in urban areas, especially in Mumbai, in Maharashtra, in cities like Bangalore, they may have heard this Coppersmith Barbet, but they have not seen who is making this sound. For the first time, when Max got really interested in birding and he started finding out more about birds, he told us there is this bird that is called Coppersmith Barbet. It has metronomic sound and everything, and all these details were great. But as a family, we had not seen how it looked, but we could always hear the sound, and we didn't know where to look for to find this bird that would be looking so amazing, because we had seen the pictures on the computer. There was one day when the sound was very close, and I knew the bird had to be closer. This was maybe in May, April or May, somewhere 2 years ago, and I just happened to investigate when the sound was coming outside the window. Let me just see if I can see. And then what happened to me that made me a real birder. This was literally the starting point of my interest in birds, because I took it like an achievement looking at this bird. It was literally like somebody awarding me that you're seeing this now, this encourages you to do more into this field. So when my eyes laid on that bird, Coppersmith Barbet, I couldn't say that if it is the one who's making the sound, because it does not open its beak. It just makes the sound and you can hear it, but you cannot really know that it is the one. But when I saw it, I was dumbstruck. My eyes were open. I saw it, I observed it, and then I had to show it to everybody. Alright, Max, so can you let us know about little bit about the ecosystem of Coppersmith Barbet, or the habitat? Where can we see them actually?
Mangrove forests, woodlands, agricultural lands, suburban gardens, and so on. They're found in whole of Southeast Asia, so there's no specific place you have to go to find it.
Okay, so anywhere where you are living, if you can hear it, there is a Coppersmith Barbet around you, isn't it? So it's as simple as that. If you are a birder by the year, if you like to listen to the sounds of the bird, and if you can hear the tuk-tuk sounds, the subtle tuk-tuk sounds.
If you listen to the video properly, you can hear a Asian coil in a distant Asian coil.
That is right now, while we are recording, there is the Asian coil outside the window, isn't it? The same way, if there was a tuk-tukia, that is the Coppersmith Barbet, and if it was making the sound, you could probably listen to that too, I'm sure. Okay, Max. So let's discuss the diet of the Coppersmith Barbet.
The diet of the Coppersmith Barbet is figs, fruits, and they can also eat insects like winged termites, which is their favorite.
Favorite? Wow, winged termites. They actually catch them while flying, I've heard.
Maybe.
Yeah, I haven't noticed one, but I do know they are very fond of figs. Those who are from India, they will know we have these wonderful big broad trees called peepal. Peepal, or in the West, people know it by, that is people, folk know it by a tree called Bodhi tree. The tree that is associated with Lord Buddha. They have amazing small figs on them, and Coppersmith Barbets are known to be always around such areas where these big banyan trees of India are around, because they get abundant food, easy food on these trees, and they like to be around them. They like to stay in those trees and be around them. So the people who have these trees are blessed. Now we are going to discuss the breeding season and details about the nesting of the Coppersmith Barbet. Yes, Max. The breeding season in India, it can vary in different regions depending upon which country they are in Southeast Asia. But in India, it is known to be between February to April. That is the season when they breed. When they make their nest, they make it in hollow trees by chiseling out the tree parts and making a nest inside. Male and female both can help each other making the nest, and then the female lays between 3 to 4 eggs at a time of Coppersmith Barbet. They are small eggs. They are taken care mainly by the female, and the male brings the food and feeds. Max, do you know anything about their mating rituals?
The male does tail whipping, head bobbing, and throat puffing, and they ritualistically offer food to the female.
Wow! So the female is made to feel special during the mating ritual of Coppersmith Barbet. That's quite interesting. Also, the incubation period can be between 13 to 14 days, and a chick becomes a fledgling in 30 to 35 days.
That's
roughly.
a long time.
Yeah, it's a long
For
time.
such a tiny bird.
For a small bird like Coppersmith Barbet. But this is the pattern they follow in the breeding, nesting, as well as in mating rituals. The status of Coppersmith Barbet is least concern. So their population is not under any threat. Neither there has been any noticeable decline in their population. In fact, they are steady. And apart from possible habitat loss, there is no other significant threat to their population. Even predatory birds are not that, threatful to Coppersmith Barbet.
Predatory birds are never have made a certain bird and become rare. The population does not reduce it or goes on decline. Predatory birds, and you can affect birds which are already rare, not make common birds rare.
That's a major point that Max raised, that if people think that due to predatory birds, bird populations can be affected, that's hardly the case when it comes to the population of the birds. Also, Coppersmith Barbets, as we mentioned it earlier a little bit, that they are highly competitive. So that makes little bit of a conflict between two barbet species, and they tend to fight among each other to steal each other's nest. Sometimes Coppersmith Barbets also like to have two nests instead of one, Max. So they like to have another one for the safety. So they can have one where they've laid their eggs, another one for the male just to be living and just to be on the safer side. So they are that smart and plan well for things ahead. So they like things organized, and they also can be quite competitive. When they are not competitive with competing with each other for nest, etc., they are busy singing, they are busy making the sounds tuk 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 quietly somewhere. They are also known to be somewhat solitary birds. When you notice Coppersmith Barbet, it will be mostly that you will notice one bird at a time, not a flock of it. It's hardly, I think, people have seen a flock of it. I did
Flocks
manage.
only occur on fruiting fig trees.
Yes, I only managed to have seen 3 Coppersmith Barbets at once, but that was like hardly 2 minutes or so they were there, and then the remaining 2 went away, and only 1 was left. So I've always, whenever I have noticed, I notice only 1 Coppersmith Barbet, not in a flock, not many more than that. So Coppersmith Barbet population is stable, thank God for that, and we have abundant of Coppersmith Barbets all around us, because we can hear them, we can listen to them, and hopefully when next time you see a Coppersmith Barbet, you will know what it looks like by the description of it. Also, whether, Max, Coppersmith Barbets are suitable for petting for people or not?
Never.
Never.
No birds should be petted, in fact. We shouldn't have that as a point.
But Coppersmith Barbet, to be specifically, is not suitable for petting. It can die prematurely if you try to do that.
But also, anyway, people shouldn't even pet even a bird if it's not a Coppersmith Barbet.
Any
also,
bird.
any bird shouldn't support the bird caging industry.
Perfect.